Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com. Great to have everybody here. All right, purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for you to type in stocks that you want me to analyze, and I'll be glad to do that. And just tell me if you're long, short, or thinking about a stock, and let's do 3 at a time, and then type them in caps because that makes it easier for me to see. And then I'll give you a feedback from a technical standpoint on what I think that stock is going to do in the future and whether it is a good time to go into it or not. All right, let me just quickly, before we get going, go through some administrational items here. And you can go ahead and start typing in any stocks you want into the comments area. First thing I got to cover, of course, are the risks involved in trading. Trading is a game of probabilities, not certainties. There's no guarantees in this business. And so you always have to use risk control, and you always have to trade or invest with money you can afford to, and that's called risk capital. Also, too, any recommendations I give you are based off my experience and my software that I use. I've been doing this now for about 30 years, and I have software that we created back around 2003 that we brought public. So we've been at it for a long time. But there's no guarantees in any particular forecast I might think a stock may do. So please run everything by your financial advisor to be sure it's suitable for you, because also I don't know your tolerance to risk in your personal situation. So that's really super important. Now, if you need help with risk control, I have written several books on the topic and published by Wiley, and that's a trader's money management system on the far left. I've got Money Management for Traders also, which is a concise book that is a very easy read and has all the formulas in it that you need to go ahead and implement a good, solid risk control program into your trading style or investing style. My newest book, The Art of Trading, all right, second from the left, just came out this year. And I'm glad to say that the reviews are really good on it. And I'm glad because I put a lot of work in that one. And that one's about 608 pages. It's a big book, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're new or experienced, because there's tidbits in that book that I think you'll get a lot out of. All right, Elliott Wave Technique Simplified, published by McGraw-Hill for me. And that is all about a form of technical analysis called the Elliott Wave. And then back to Wiley with the Survival Guide for Traders. So I'll put a link in the recording for these, but you can also go to our website and check them out as well. Same thing with the software that I use. I'll put a link at the bottom. And we have charting software, we have scanners, and we have risk control software. And they work on NinjaTrader, TradeStation, let's see, MT4, MT5. They also work on eSignal. And you can check these out on our website, and I'll put a link in the recording bottom also. And then finally, give us a like if you like the content today, and we would appreciate that. All right, I want to start out a little bit by reviewing the Dow before jumping into stocks. I always like to do this. And before I get going, I'm going to put a link up in the chat area. Let's see if that makes it. Okay, good. And so I just put that up there. I have a service called the Market Opportunity Report, which is a comprehensive service on the major indexes. That includes the NASDAQ, the S&P. It's also a combination of a stock picking service too. So we have stock picks each and every week in the MOR report. And this report, of course, is geared for those that either actively trade the markets or invest in the markets. And basically what I'm doing is I'm giving you a report on the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P going forward, both long-term forecasts and short-term forecasts for the week. So if you're interested in anything like that, it's very inexpensive, and you can check that out using the link I put up there. All right, just a quick overview of the Dow before we get going. One thing I want to point out here is that we had this area here of structure, which is this gray. I'm going to mark it with an S on the daily chart here. So this is the daily chart. This is the weekly chart over here. And so we're in it now. We haven't gotten above it, but it's acting as resistance. You can see where it came up to it twice and butted against it. And now it needs to either find direction to the upside or go ahead and move back down. One of our key indicators down here is the PTF. And I'm going to circle that. And the PTF is an acronym that stands for the Precision Trend Filter. And when it's red, it indicates that the lowest low in that red area, which is here, all right, is not the final bottom. We're going to return and take that out at some point. It does not tell us when we're going to, or how much of a retracement we're going to have before it does, but prices should revisit there at some point. So that's kind of interesting. That could mean that we could be heading down there now, but if we can get above this gray area, it could also act as another support area for more highs in the market. So we're kind of at a critical area in the market right now. We're going to have to see what it does. I don't have to tell everybody there's enough events going on around the world that if something falls apart, it will affect the market and could drive it back down. We are anticipating at some time a severe bear market in the Dow, but we certainly could get one more high before that bear market kicks in. So we'll see how that plays. Now, if this kind of information interests you, then you're going to love the MOR report. So definitely check out that link I gave you, and we elaborate a lot more on this. And the MOR includes a video every Sunday, as well as a very detailed written report. So there you have it. Okay. All right. So one of the stocks I've noticed, I want to just share a few. Okay. And one of the stocks I want to put in here is UNG, and give that a second just to load for a moment. But this is the ETF for natural gas. And we created actually a buy signal on this and another one recently, simply because of the fact that we think a bottom is in on natural gas. You know, it had been coming down really since it topped out in 2022, and it's been straight down since. You can see that on the chart on the far right. And we've been looking for a bottom, and we think we may have it. We were waiting to see if this gray area of support here, which is a previous order block here, notice how prices hit it. It seems to be pretty resilient. So we got a couple bottoms, almost like a triple bottom there. Then we had a pennant or wedge bullish here, all right, and we bounced out of that to the upside. We also have bullish divergence here. We have no red PTFs there, and you know, we're starting, it looks like to me, to move back to the upside. So you may want to consider this. One of the things that is a little unique about ETFs is that, especially this one, is this one represents natural gas, which is a commodity. So even if the stock market sold off, it doesn't mean natural gas would. Okay, so this might be a nice diversification for some of you, and you can talk to your financial advisor about it. Okay. So I just kind of wanted to lead out with that because we did notice it breaking out of that pennant today. All right, let's jump in and see what you guys want to look at today. We'll start with Al. Al, how are you? Okay, so Al, question mark with a long. So he wants me to look at these three and see if they're poised for a long position. And one of the nice things is that we usually walk away from these meetings with a couple of really good stock opportunities. So it's almost a stock picking service in itself, right? All right, so Al, one of the things I like off the bat, I'm looking at this real quickly, is the overview is the green PTFs on both time frames, and a nice bottom had formed here. So this is an opportunity to get in as close as possible to a possible bottom. And so I'm liking that. All right. The only problem with this one, of course, is that this is a penny stock. It's 68 cents. So, you know, it may be a kind of range bound for a while until you'll get a pop. Some of the other things I don't like about it is this is an artificial move up. I don't know what news came out to create that, but then it settled back in. So sometimes these pops can be a little bit artificial in nature. In other words, some form of manipulation in the market, because a lot of people got long and a lot of people are sitting at $1.60 and lost a lot of money. So you got to be careful with these. Okay. Now, with that said, what I would probably do on this one is let's wait and see if we get a break above either this point or this point for the next possible move up, okay? I have no idea what the company does, so you're going to have to do your own research on that. All right, EQT, let's take a look at that. You can give that a second to load. Okay, so this is a mid price stock all the way up at 60 bucks. And let's see what we've got cooking here. We may have looked at this one before. My only issue with this one is we've got a little bearish divergence now forming on the weekly chart. And we can see it also on the daily chart. Doesn't mean it can't go higher, but you kind of don't want to see that if you're initiating your first long into this, especially after it's been moving up quite a bit. I mean, you could draw a trend line here. So I'm going to kind of say no go on that one for right now. Let me just see what the possibilities are of a target if anybody is in this one right now, and see what kind of distance we might have still available on this. And you can see we're close to the target now. So if you're in it, you can keep holding it, but keep those stops fairly tight for a end of this trend up, so to speak. All right, and then your final one is BG. Let's take a look at that one. Give that a second to load. All right, so red PTF right away kind of warns me against a short. We have bounced out here. We have bounced out here. Now, what's interesting is I would wait for this to turn green. And it may do that pretty soon. And if that's the case, it looks like it would be a pretty decent trade. And I'll tell you why I think the possibilities of that make it a decent trade. If we go over here, all right, we've got, again, we don't have a lot of history. But if we take a look at this precise little movement in here, we may have a situation if we draw a fib extension of a possible move up into the 125 area, which would be a decent amount of move. I don't think I would do it yet. You'll probably get a pullback, but you do have some nice fair value gaps here and here. And you kind of like to see that on the beginning of a big move. So I'm kind of liking that. Okay, that's a fair value gap there. So just wait for this to turn green, and it may do that on the next push up. Okay, and then I think it's good. So this one here I like the best out of all three, but I would hold off until that PTF goes away. All right, it's right 75% of the time, so it's wrong 25%. So this may be one of the times that it's wrong, but let's verify it. All right, let's move on here. Al's got a few more here. GT. Okay, now he's thinking of shorts on these. Okay, no red PTFs. And I probably would not do a short on this one. Okay, it's not clear to me that we're going to head down a significant amount. We have a bottom in here. We had a pullback where the bottom held. And technically on the charts now, we kind of got an uptrend here. Yes, we have a pullback here, but that's all we may get out of this. So I'm not so crazy about a short on this. Let's take a look at your others. OCSL. Okay, this one we got a red PTF. We got a fairly extended channel down. So this one actually makes sense for a short. So here's your target based off the PTF right down here. Here's your stop if you go short. You got about a 1-to-1 risk to reward, okay? And you've got a fairly extended channel. So you might get down into this area, and that may be the end of the move down before you get a significant retraction on this move down. So you got to be a little bit careful here, but that's a possibility, okay? 1-to-1 risk to reward. You got to put your stop up high enough because there's a chance that these gaps may fill before it goes down, okay? I'm not going to recommend this because the risk to reward's not that high on it. Let me see if there is any other areas that this possibly could go. It'd be great if it came down way down into below $8, which is an equity level there. So that would be super. But then again, we've got equity here it took out, and then equity down here it might try to take out too. And that might be it. So Yeah, that one's the best one so far. IRWD. All right, short position here. Weekly chart says more lows, but we may get a little bit of a retracement. Seems like we're turning up here, and we have bullish divergence in the owl. So I think this one, it's too late, okay? I do think it could go down a little further, but I think it may be a little bit late, okay? And then let's take a look at your other one, MRNA, and you're bottom fishing on this. Well, we love bottom fishing, right? Okay, let's see what we got cooking here. All right, yeah, good one to keep an eye on. Look at the bullish divergence building in the owl, excuse me, on that weekly chart. So I'm liking that. I'm not 100% sure we have a bottom yet. All these pyramids formed inside a channel, so I'd like to see a breakout from that again. And we do have a little bit of a, well, we still have a bearish trade on in the weekly chart if you were short there, and you don't have green here or here yet. I'd keep an eye on it. And Al, I would say probably what I would do with this is if we get above this bearish bar here, all right, then that's a good sign, okay? So I'd stay out of it until we get above, let's say, around 30 and some change, okay? All right, thank you. All right, so Gene's got a couple picks here for one of our clients here. All right, GE. All right, let's take a look at that bad boy. He's up 130%. And boy, they ride those trends well, and that's what happens, right? Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. So when I look at this right here, green PTF indicating more highs. All right, so that's where we are now. It's an extended uptrend, but also too, this is a situation where we could go a little bit higher. All right, we could retrace here as well. So let's draw in a potential area where we could retrace. All right, we could go down to 226 to 207 before returning. There's a pyramid trading stop below this particular triangular pyramid, which forms at fractals in the market. And that has a low of 228.01. So a stop around 228 might make sense here. However, if you want to stay long with it, you're going to have to give it a little more room and put your stop way under here to survive any type of normal Fibonacci retracement on this move up. Now, we may just take off and make one more high and not come down again. So I would stay with it, Ed, but I think the next high, we got to be more careful than the one that just formed, okay? We don't have bearish divergence here yet, so that's a good sign. And this is so darn close on the weekly chart to take out that one there, and you have not had a significant pullback. So you're going to get a pretty decent pullback at some point. But I'm kind of thinking that will probably make one more high. And keep an eye on the owl. If the owl turns red, then that's a possibility that we're now in a wave 4. So we will get a pullback more immediate than after the fact, so to speak. All right, so good one to stay long, but again, I probably have a stop in place, at least for taking out partial of my positions, because I think you're going to get a pullback on this big run up. All right, that's GE. Let's see about INTA for him. All right, he's down 6% on this one. And give that a second to load. All right. So this one has entered the correction, okay? You can see it by the red owl, which is our histogram on the far right-hand side, and pyramids pointing down. Now, what's interesting here is that we did retrace down to a fib number here. We don't have bearish divergence on the bullish owls, I don't believe. Well, maybe we do between here and here. Okay. So on this case here, you're kind of forced, I think, here, if you're in this, to put your stop here, because that stop could represent the bottom of the wave 4. So we got a 3, 4, and we could anticipate a 5 coming up. I just don't know if 4 is over yet. So this was an ABC correction. It looks like it might be, all right, and we hit this structure over here, which was good. So I'm kind of liking that. So if we draw here, a little bit of structure here, and here was hit, and we took out, I believe, liquidity here. So that's a good sign. So, and then we had a pretty smart move up after that. So it's not unusual on a first break off a bottom to come down and retest this area before it goes. Okay, that's not uncommon. So we may come back down a little bit further. I'd put my stop, if I were you, at the bottom of this recent pullback in April and May. Okay. And then at that particular point, if you get stopped out, so be it. Okay. But that's how I would play that. All right. DXPE. Excuse me. He's down 7% here. All right. Now here we have the help of the PTFs indicating that no matter what happens, we should get eventually a return to higher highs. And notice we don't have bearish divergence on this one here. So, yeah, so I'm thinking same type of thing. I think we have a bottom here. I think we got a 3, a 4, and a 5 on its way. So I think you'd want to hold this one. And again, you can put your stop here at the bottom of this retracement here that should hold at 67.68. All right, so a couple ticks under that. All right, and again, if we look at the order block and look at kind of the structure here, you can see kind of why that stopped there. Okay. So, and again, not unusual to come back down close to this area. So you want that stop under there. So I would hold those with the stops as indicated. All right. All right. I think that's all. All right. All right. Let's move on. Eleanor, how are you? All right. GCT. Let's take a look at yours here. And you a long question mark. So you're considering longs on these. So let me see how they're looking. All right. So we looked at this last week and we noticed that looks like we had kind of a double bottom here, some structure in there. Let me just move that down there. So we got green PTFs on both. All right. So that's a good sign. And we have a little bit of a pullback here coming up here. So probably more highs are coming. This is a kind of a normal consolidation that you can get a range, could come down before it goes up, that type of thing. But yeah, I think this looks pretty good. And I like the large PTF up here for a $45 price target. So I'm liking this. So GCT is a buy. Okay. I'm going to put that on the buy list. All right. So that's a good one. All right. Let's take a look at your next one here, which is SMCI. We've looked at this one before too. So let's bring this bad boy up and see how it's doing. I think it was like skimming along the bottom last time we looked. All right, green PTFs. We're having a breakout. We kind of wanted to have this downtrend end before making a new bottom, and it did. So this is another buy. Okay, good job. SMCI is a buy. Target, it could be poised to make a brand new high. Now you're going to have to hold it a long time for it to get as high as this, but this PTF is a shorter term target for more intermediate buyers and more active traders trading, or swing traders trading off the, of course, off the daily chart. So, 65-ish for a short-term target. We're at 45. And if you wanted to take 2 trades on this or continue to hold your short-term trade, the next target is 120, but you're going to have to wait probably a couple of years for that. Okay. So there you have it. So both of those look good. Good job. All right. Let's keep moving along here. All right, Terry, how are you, Terry? Okay. Oh, this is a good one, MSTR. So MSTR is a stock that basically follows the crypto market without a Bitcoin. It owns a ton of it. All right. And this is one I would recommend as a buy as well. Okay. I know it because I looked at it recently for other clients, and our target is 553 to 754. and we're expecting more highs on Bitcoin. So it makes sense that you would see more highs on this as well. So that's kind of where we're going. The Elliott wave count on this, 3 at this time, 4 and 5. We have green PTF here indicating one more high there. So we had this situation here. We have not had a major 4 yet on the weekly chart. So this pullback here was drawn if the owl went red. I think what's going to happen is we're going to go up, make a new high here, and then that's going to be the end of 3 on the weekly and the end of 5 here. And then we can expect a move down. And then after that, another high, but that could be years later. So I think we're going to see on Bitcoin and MSTR more highs by the end of the year. I'll say that. So this is a good one. And this is exactly the kind of stuff we go over in the MOR report, especially we talk about Bitcoin in the housing market as well. All right, so good one. That's nice, Terry. Good one. All right, let's see what else we got here. We're coming up to our half an hour because we try to make these about a half an hour. Okay, let's see. All right, Gene's saying, reminding everybody, give us a like. All right, and yes, we got SMCI as a winner, and we also have MSTR as a winner as well. All right, so all right, we got time for a couple more, but if that's it, we'll call it a day for today. And let me just go over real quickly what we've got here. We got GCT, SMCI, MSTR. Okay, let's look at Etsy. Etsy was one we recommended as well. And I think at this particular point, Etsy is too far up there. So let me just put that in there and see if we can get a reading on that. Of course, I got to spell it right. That always helps. Give that a second to load. Okay. So this one pulled off its bottom, and we liked it before. We had a buy on it. And I think it's still a buy. It has not come up a lot to make it not a buy anymore. So this one looks good. Put your stop low as you can on this one for a minimum in the 40s, somewhere around this pyramid here at 45.75. You know, the great thing about the pyramids is they give us a great place not only to enter, but to place our stops. So I'm liking this one. And I think this is one you can hold for a while. But I also think, you know, your short-term target could simply be just a retracement, even of this line, so between 82 and 108. So, you know, if it gets into that upper range of just that retracement channel, you're talking almost a double your money one. So this one I like. Okay, so I wanted to share that one again with you, and I'm going to put that on the buy list too, because I think that's pretty good. All right, and I also like UNG. Okay, that was the other one I shared with you this morning. All right, so, and again, this is exactly what we do in the MOR report. We have stock picks, just like what we're going over now. I have a scanner that searches for things in the marketplace for certain setups. And so those are how we put the MOR stock picks together, okay? And it's stocks. It's basically stocks and ETFs that we analyze for everybody. All right, so I think that's it for today, all right? Great session today. All right, once again, just going to recap here. GCT is a buy. We got SMCI as a buy, MSTR is a buy, Etsy, ETSY, and UNG. Okay, so there you have it. All right, well, you guys have a great one, and we'll see you back here next Friday. I hope you're enjoying the summer, getting hot here where I am. I'm here in Arizona, so getting kind of toasty over here. But I'm sure that's pretty much throughout the country as well. All right, so have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here next week. you.